What's good, Trappers? It's your boy, the Wall Street Trappin. Y'all know my goal is to help the culture build wealth one shot at a time. Right now, I want to talk about a topic that's not really talked about in the investing world too much, but it should be. REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust, R.E.I.T'S. Now, when I talk to people about REITs, I often talk to them about from the component of being able to own real estate without being an actual landlord. Being able to buy real estate from the stock market. That's right. So a lot of these companies that we love, all of these companies that we love, all of these companies that we want to invest in, all have real estate, right? We understand it. We understand that real estate is one of the biggest components in the world. Listen, it's a driver of wealth. As the Wall Street Trapper, I love stocks, and real estate is my next favorite asset class. But I like to buy real estate through the stock market. That's right. So let's just talk about that for a second. So one of the reasons why we love REITs, one of why REITs are so great for us as investors, why, Trap? Because real estate investment trusts or REITs are obligated to pay us 90% of their profits. That's right, 90%. I like to call it flipping bricks on Wall Street, right? So if we think about an Amazon, if we think about a Walmart, we think about a Home Depot, we think about a Planet Fitness, right? These places aren't in the real estate business. So what do? They go to a company and they say, hey, we need you all to buy this. We need to buy a building from you all, or we need you all to construct a building for us so that we can operate out of it. And the people say, okay, cool, I don't have a problem with that. How big do you need it? 2,000 feet by 2,000 feet? They say, cool, we can do that, but it's gonna cost you. And so Amazon, like, how much it's gonna cost me? They said, well, listen, on top of what you're gonna pay us to do this, we're gonna pay us a lease. You're gonna lease it from us, right? You're gonna lease it from us for 10 to 15 years, right? And so Amazon says, all right, cool, I'll lease it from you for 10 or 15 years. That's a no-brainer. Walmart says, I'm gonna lease it from you from 10 or 15 years. That's a no-brainer. Home Depot says, I'm gonna lease it from you for 10 or 15 years. That's a no-brainer, right? And so what they do is they construct a building, and then Amazon, Walmart, whoever, Home Depot says, okay, we'll lease it from you. And then the leaser says, the REIT says, listen, I'm just giving you the building. You got to pay all the bills. That's called triple net lease. That's right. I'm going to give you the building, but you got to pay all the bills. You got to put your products and services in there. So REITs are great for us because we like cash flow. One of the REITs that I love is the telephone REITs, right? So you can have American Tower, or you can have CCI. I actually own CCI. I think it's a great REIT to own, right? So you think about it, right? Every telephone company has to have what? A tower. Without a tower, you can't operate. Well, American Tower and CCI, Crown Castle, these companies, what they do is they construct the tower and they rent the space. Now here's where they got real good at it. This is what I really like. They got real creative. They got real nice. They started renting multiple spaces on the tower to different people. So they actually now use the one tower as like a multi-unit or like an apartment complex, right? So if before it was a single home, like you just have the REIT and one person owned it, one person can rent from it, they opened it up. So now one tower can have AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon on it, all at one time. Huh? And let me ask you a question. Do you see us not using phones anytime soon? The phone has now become a daily part, an intricate part to everybody's life now. So walking computer. You'll probably be looking at this video off your phone. Probably 7 out of 10 of y'all are. So my thing is, why not own the company who your phone service is dependent upon? And that company now, especially with American Tower or Crown Castle, they've been paying dividends consistently for 10 years or better. I mean, if any company can pay you consistent dividends for that long, I mean, it's quite interesting. Another one that I like is, it's called ticker symbol COLD, code. Now, why I like them is because they have the only REIT that deals with refrigeration. That's right. So you think about packaged meat and you think about freezers in these restaurants, they build them. So you go to a restaurant and they got a freezer in there, it's a good chance that this company has done it. When you think about meats that have to be stored at these real cold temperatures, it's a good chance they've done it. One of the things that interested me about them was when the pandemic first happened, I saw that Thermo Fisher and all of these other people who were creating these vaccines, they needed to be in really cold temperatures. And COLD wound up getting some contracts for that. Why? Because they are known for having storages, cold storages. And that's what they specialize in, cold storages. So I like to find, when I look for REITs, I like to find REITs that have a specific niche, right? Unlike like just having apartment buildings, that's cool, right? I like the specific niche in the REITs because they get long-term clientele. And one of the things we look at when we're looking at REITs is what that clientele look like, fam. Are you trapping for real? Do you have customer loyalty? Another one I like is Digital Realty. This is a company that's based out as a data center, right? And so Trap, like what the hell is a data center? I don't know what the hell that is, bro. So think about this, that same phone that you use, the same computer that you use, that's data. That data has to be stored somewhere. We get on Amazon and they ask you, they're actually tracking you. That data has to be stored somewhere. We get on Netflix and they ask for your subscription, that data has to be stored somewhere. When you get on Facebook and they know all of your information, that data has to be stored somewhere. When you get on Google and YouTube and all of these different search engines, that data has to be stored somewhere. Digital Realty, DLR. It's a company that I love. I've owned it for quite some time right now, maybe a few years. I actually broke the business down in my Trappers Anonymous group not too long ago. Why do I love this business? Because they are one of the top largest players in that industry, right? And what I do know is, as we continue to move forward in the future, what do I know is going to increase? The use of technology. The more technology we use, the more data we need to be saved. Definitely love data. Here's a hack though. Speaking of the word hack, I know we're talking about REITs, but now that we're talking about data centers, here's the ETF that I love. It's called HACK, cybersecurity. If you need data centers, you also need cybersecurity. This ETF, HACK, is a great ETF because it allows us to invest in companies that also do what? Have cybersecurity. Cybersecurity coincides with data centers. Why do we need cybersecurity, Trap? Because we're more into technology. Listen, investing is about understanding what's ahead of us, right? I know people be like, get into the Coca-Colas and get into this. Those companies are real cool. But when we're looking for growth, the best way to find growth is to understand what's ahead. I often say this. Growth companies represent the solution. Blue chip companies represent the remedy. What you try? What does that mean? So you ever had like a cut or something, or you got sick or something, and your grandmother, somebody say, yo, I got a remedy for that, right? You ever heard about the old remedies that your people use, right? But those remedies have been around for a long time, right? And so it's like Old Faithful. But the solution answers a problem that's happening right now. I like those solutions. And so in the solutions, we'll see so much growth, right? So you see Elon Musk and Tesla, that's a solution. When you see Google and YouTube, that's a solution. When you see streaming services, that's a solution. When we think about anything that is solving a problem right now, those solutions are where we see the growth at in the market. So as great investors, one of the things we have to look for is, where's the solution? Find a solution, you find a company that can pay you for a long time. The mindset of an investor says this: how do I turn a one-time transaction into a lifetime of cash flow? How do I turn a one-time transaction? So if I buy some Nikes, I bought them that one time, that's a one-time transaction. If I own Nike, it has now became a lifetime of cash flow. If I buy something from Amazon, that becomes a one-time transaction. Even I keep going back. Every time I go back, there's a one-time transaction. If I own Amazon, it becomes a lifetime of cash flow.
All right, Trop, I hear what you're saying, right? My credit's pretty decent. It's in the 700s. I think that's pretty fair. I got about $5,000 to $10,000. Where do I do I start? What's the smart investment? You named a lot of things, REITs, digital, hack. Where do I start?
Oh man, that's a great question. So one of the great places to start is, I like to say that all investors, especially if you're new to the game, there's two ways you can get into the game. One is by trying to own what you already consume, right? And owning what you consume is if you got an iPhone, or if you use Verizon, or if you're wearing Nikes, which you have those on right now. Those are great places to start. I think what happens too in the beginning, we try to get it right. I want to buy the best stock in the beginning. Like that don't happen. It's okay. That's why you had to have skin in the game. The next way I like to tell people to start is start with ETFs, electronic exchange traded funds, right? And those ETFs gives us a collection of stocks at once. We talked about hack. That is the collection of cybersecurity stocks in one, and it operates like a stock. So I think the best place to start is with blue chip stocks or stocks that you already own, companies that you're already using, or go with ETFs. It's a safe play. It's a risk-averse play, especially for new investors, right? And that's great. I'm glad you asked me that, because no matter how much I teach, no matter how much I pour out there, every day there's someone else getting into the game like, Trap, where do I start? The easiest place to start is what you already own, what you already consume, where you already like to spend time, where you already like to spend money, and where you work. Those are easy places to start, man. I'm glad you asked that question, man. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trapper. And y'all know my goal is to help the culture build wealth one share at a time, man. Trap with me.